Hello, everybody. Good morning. Happy Saturday. As always, Luna is here, my cat. Welcome to Yogi Me. This is an hour-long class of yoga. Thanks for joining me. Looks like we got 2 people in here. Welcome. Good morning. Hope you're doing well. We'll just get started here in a few minutes, give people a chance to join. Hope you guys are doing well. We'll just need a mat as usual. And maybe a cup of water or something. So yeah, we'll just give people a chance to join. We'll start in 1 minute. All right, we'll get started here, 9 o'clock. So you can just get started in a comfortable seated position. Cross-legged is fine, or however you want to sit. Just pull the crown of your head up towards the ceiling. And you can bring your shoulder blades together and down your back just to relax your shoulders. You can have your hands on your thighs or on your knees. Just find a comfortable seated position. You can even, rock side to side. Make sure your sit bones have a nice, solid connection with the ground. And your bones should be stacked here. Your spine nice and tall, so you really don't need a lot of effort here. And if you're comfortable, once you've found your comfortable seated position, you can close your eyes and just start to bring your awareness inward. Meaning your attention is focused on your body, how your body's feeling right now. Not thinking about thoughts that happened earlier in the day, earlier in the week. Not thinking about what's going to happen after class. You're just thinking about the room that you're in, the body that you're in, how it feels. You're noticing the subtle sensations of your sit bones connected with the earth, of your chest rising and falling. And if you haven't already, you can start to deepen your breath. Really draw your air down low into the very bottom of your lungs. And on your exhale, you're fully exhaling, emptying out your lungs. Noticing your rib cage expand and contract. Your belly expand and contract. And notice if there's any tightness or tension or discomfort. Maybe send breath to that area of your body. Just acknowledge it. Be mindful of it throughout the practice today. And as you're breathing deep in and out through the nose, we'll start to connect some movement to our breath. So on your next deep inhale, I want you to circle your arms up overhead. Maybe bring your palms together, and then exhale as you bring your hands back out to your sides. Just bring them back down to the mat. Inhale, lift your arms up. Maybe you touch your palms together, and then exhale, bring your hands out to your sides. Inhale, scoop your arms up overhead. And then exhale as you twist to the right. So bring your left hand to your right knee. Right hand comes behind you. And twist from your spine. Still sitting up nice and tall. And breathe. And then on your next inhale, reach your arms back overhead. And exhale as you twist to the left. Right hand to left knee. Left hand comes behind you. Breathing here, starting up gentle. This doesn't have to be your deepest stretch. Inhale as you reach your arms back up. And exhale as you twist to the right. Wringing out your lungs. Take a few breaths here. And then on your next inhale, reach your arms back up. And exhale as you twist to the left. And then inhale as you reach your arms back up overhead. And then exhale, bring your hands straight out in front of you. Pull your fingers back towards you as if you're pressing your palms against a wall. So feeling a little bit of maybe a burning sensation in your forearms and the backs of your hands. Strengthening the wrists, which we use a lot in yoga. We're playing some of our down dogs. I want to make sure we take care of them. And then flip your hands so that your palms face towards you. Press the backs of your hands forward. And then make fists with your hands and bring your knuckles together. And then just gently press your hands together, your fists together, and then reach your arms in front of you. Reach your hands in front of you just until your body tells you to stop. You should be getting a nice stretch on the back sides of your hands. And then release. You can shake your hands out, side to side, and then up and down. And then clasp your hands behind you. So clasp your hands together and draw your fingers down towards the floor. Shine your heart forward. So you're getting maybe a little bit of a back bend here. Bringing your shoulders towards each other, the tops of your arms towards each other. Getting a gentle stretch in your shoulders. And then bend your elbows and bring your hands over to the right side. So see if you can hook your hands around your torso. And then let your left ear fall towards your left shoulder. And then lift back out to center. Bring your hands over to the left side. See if you can hook them around. It's okay if you can't, just as close as you can. And then let your right ear fall towards your right shoulder. So getting a nice stretch in your left neck, your left shoulder. And then you can come back up to center, release your hands, bring your hands back to your knees. Then inhale as you bring your chest and your heart forward. And exhale as you round your spine. Bring your spine back towards the back of the wall, whatever's behind you. Look towards your navel. And then inhale, bring your chest and your belly forward. Exhale, round your spine. Look down, and then inhale as you look up. Shine your heart forward, bring your chest forward. We usually take these motions in tabletop position. So go ahead and exhale, round your spine. Inhale, bring your chest forward. And then continue this at your own pace, following your breath. So these are our seated cat-cows, just warming up the spine. Exhaling as you round your spine, inhaling to open. And then when you're ready, come back to neutral spine. Bring your hands out in front of you. And then uncross your ankles. Come back into a tabletop position so that your knees are right underneath your hips, your shoulders right over your wrists. Tuck your toes underneath. And then press into the mat with all 10 fingers. Really spread your fingers out wide. You can spread your toes out wide. And then start to lift your knees up off of the mat and just hover them here. And then continue lifting your hips up high, coming to downward facing dog. Your knees don't have to straighten, they can stay bent. But really press the mat away with all 10 fingers. Really lengthening the spine here, scooping your tailbone up. You can let your heels fall back down towards the mat. And just take a few breaths here as we start to warm the body. Maybe you rock a little bit side to side. Rock your hips. Or maybe bend one knee and then the other. Just warming up, finding a pose that works for you. And once you find that pose, see if you can find some stillness. And then drop your knees down to the mat, drop them out wide, maybe as wide as your mat. Bring your toes together and sink your hips back into child's pose. Keep this pose active, so actively pulling your chest down towards the mat, lengthening your spine. Lift your forearms up off the mat. You can even come to the pads of your fingers here. And then press your palms, press your hands down into the mat, tuck your toes underneath, lift your hips up high, back to your downward facing dog. Take a few breaths here.
Still keeping your breath nice and strong and free flowing. And then look forward, bend your knees, take a step or a hop to the front of the mat, and then lift up halfway. So like that the crown of your head is reaching forward, your tailbone is reaching back, lengthening your spine. Hands are on your shins or your knees. And then exhale as you fold forward. Let your head and your neck hang. You can bend your knees here if that feels good. And then maybe rock a little bit side to side. And then on your inhale, lift up halfway again. And exhale, fold. Bend your knees and reach all the way up. Stand all the way up. Inhale. And then exhale as you bring your hands down to your sides. Inhale, reach up. And exhale as you fold forward. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, plant your hands, step your feet back into plank. And hold here, keeping a nice straight line from the crown of your head to the soles of your feet. And then start to rock forward up on your toes a little. And then bend your elbows as you slowly, with control, lower all the way down to the mat. Untuck your toes and straighten your elbows just until your body tells you to stop. So keeping your thighs down on the mat, your chest and your heart is open for cobra pose. And then bring your chin back down to the mat, tuck your toes underneath, press up to plank, and lift your hips up high, downward facing dog. And take 5 breaths here. So you're scooping your tailbone up towards the ceiling, pressing with all 10 fingers. And breathing in and out through your mouth. Through your nose. And then we'll go through that sun salutation one more time. So bend your knees, look forward, take a step or a hop to the front of the mat, and lift up halfway. Inhale. Exhale as you fold forward. Bend your knees and reach up, stand all the way up. Inhale. Exhale your hands to your sides. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale as you plant your hands, step back to plank and chaturanga, lower to the floor. Inhale to your cobra or upward facing dog. And exhale as you come to your downward facing dog. And take 5 breaths here. And then when you're ready, look forward, take a step or a hop to the front of the mat, and come into your chair pose. So your hips sink back, reaching forward with your hands. Look forward, see if you can see your toes. If not, you'll have to send your hips back in space. And then bring your hands to heart center. And bring your left elbow to your right knee for a twist. So see if you can bring your thumbs closer to your sternum Really twisting from your spine, wringing out your organs. And let's step your left foot back. So you're in a twisted lunge here. And see if you can open up your arms. So it doesn't have to be, straight up and down. Let's see if you can just stack your shoulders. Still getting a little twist here. And then on your next inhale, we'll use your core lift all the way up, so still twisted. But your right hand reaches back, left hand reaches forward. And then square your hips and your chest forward, lift up, crescent lunge. So bring your shoulders away from your ears. Lift your fingertips up. And then start to reach forward. Bend forward. And then come up to just standing on your right foot. So you're coming into warrior 3. Your hands can be reaching forward still, or you can bring them down your sides. You can bring them out like airplane wings. It's up to you. See if you can flex that left foot. Really making a strong letter T with your body. Bringing the crown of your head forward, kicking back with your left foot. And then see if you can bring your hands to heart center. And then start to hinge up to standing, not dropping your left foot down, but reaching your left foot forward. So just lifting your left leg in front of you to your own personal degree. It doesn't have to be lifted high. These are muscles that we don't always touch. Breathing here. And then bend your left knee. Bring your left ankle to your right knee. And maybe sit back into your chair. And you can stay here, or you can start to sink down. See if you can bring your forearms to your left shin. Just an option. And then if you have the space, you also have the option to bring your hands down to the mat. And then maybe see if you can straighten your right knee. Keeping your head and your neck loose as you're folded. And then when you're ready, come back up to your chair pose. And so you can step your left foot back behind you, coming back into your crescent lunge. So reaching your hands up towards the ceiling, dropping your shoulders. Inhale, reaching up, and exhale as you bring your hands to the floor. Step your right foot back, and we'll bring it through a flow. So chaturanga, lower to the floor. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a few breaths here. Keeping your spine nice and long. And then look forward, bend your knees. Take a hop or a step to the front of the mat and lift back into your chair pose. So hips are sinking back, reach forward. And then bring your hands to heart center. Hook your right elbow to your left knee. I'm going to switch so you guys can see. So twisting here, bringing your sternum closer to your thumbs. You can look up. And then see if you can step your right foot back. Coming into your twisted lunge. And then see if you can open your arms. Stacking your shoulders. Really reaching up with your left hand. And then use your core as you lift up, still twisted. Twist it open to the left. Reaching forward with your right hand and reaching back with your left hand. And then square forward. Squaring your hips and your shoulders. Crescent lunge. Shoulders come away from your ears. Reach your fingertips up. And then reach forward. And bend forward, and so reach as far forward as you can until your right foot comes up. You're standing on your left foot. You can keep reaching forward, or you can bring your hands to your sides. Reach back for your right foot. You can bring your hands out to a T. If you have trouble balancing, you can always come to a wall. Bring your hand to a wall. But square your hips so that they're parallel with the floor. Really kicking back with that right foot. And then bring your hands to heart center. And see if you can hinge up to standing without dropping your right foot down. And simply reach your right foot up in front of you. Resisting the urge to lean back. Try to stay standing nice and tall. And then bend your right knee, bring your right ankle to your left knee, and sink back into your chair pose. And you can stay here, or you can try to see if you can sink down a little bit lower. Maybe try bringing your forearms down to your shin. Just an option. And then if you have the space, or if you would like to try, there's an option to bring your hands down to the floor and try to straighten your left knee. Still keeping a micro bend in that left knee, so you're not locking anything. And then you can lift back up. And then see if you can step your right foot back into your crescent lunge. Reach your arms up. Bring your shoulders down away from your ears. Turn your pinkies in towards one another. Inhale as you reach up. And exhale, bring your hands down to the mat. Step your left foot back. Moving through a flow. Chaturanga, lower to the floor. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. We'll take 5 breaths here. Feel free to grab some water if you need it. We'll be going through this sequence one more time on each side. Just a little bit faster since we kind of know where we're going. So when you're ready, look forward, bend your knees, take a step or a hop to the front of the mat, lift up to your chair pose. Bring your hands to heart center, left elbow to your right knee, and twist. Step your left foot back, and open your arms. Use your core, lift up while you're still twisted. Square your hips and your shoulders forward, crescent lunge. Reach forward, come up to your warrior 3, however that looks like. And then bring your hands to heart center. Hinge back up to standing. Bring your left foot in front of you. Lift it to your own personal degree. And then bend your left knee, left ankle to right knee. Sit back into your chair. See if you can sink a little bit lower. Option to bring your hands down to the mat, straighten your right knee. And then re-bend your right knee, come back up to your chair. And then step your left foot back, reach your arms up, crescent lunge. Inhale, and exhale as you bring your hands to the floor. Step your right foot back, and bring it through a flow. Chaturanga, upward facing dog, to downward facing dog. And take 5 breaths here. And look forward, bend your knees, step or hop to the front of the mat, lift up to your chair pose. Bring your hands to heart center, right elbow, left knee, twist, and step your right foot back. Open up your arms. While you're still twisted, lift up. And square your chest and your hips forward, crescent lunge. Reach forward, and then lift onto your left foot. Reach your right leg up. Kick your right leg back. Take any arm variation you would like. And then bring your hands to heart center. Lift back up to standing. Reach your right leg in front of you. Bend your right knee, right ankle to left knee. Sink back into your chair. And see if you can keep sinking down lower. Option to bring your hands down to the mat. Straighten your left knee. And then bring your hands back up to heart center. Chair pose. Then step your right foot back. Crescent lunge. Inhale, reach up. Exhale as you frame your left foot. Step your left foot back, bring it through a flow. Chaturanga, lower to the floor. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. And take 5 breaths here. Still scooping your tailbone up, pressing the mat away. You can do it. And then drop your knees wide, bring your big toes together, sink your hips back, child's pose. Really draw your chest down towards the floor. And then walk your hands back towards you. Bring your knees so that they're about hip width distance. Come to kneeling on your knees. And bring your hands to your low back, fingers pointing down. Bring your elbows in towards each other. And then start to shine your heart up towards the ceiling. Still keep your hips right over your knees. Coming into camel, if you would like to, you can tuck your toes underneath. See if you can drop your hands down to your heels. It's okay if you can't. Still just trying to keep your hips forward as much as possible. Heart shining towards the ceiling. Your neck can be uninvolved in this, or if you would like to, you can drop your head back and shine your throat up towards the ceiling. But when you're ready, bring your hips forward. Bring your chest forward. Come back up to neutral. Untuck your toes if you have them tucked, and come back into your child's pose. This time with your knees together. Bring your forehead down to the mat. Bring your hands down to your ankles. And then when you're ready, you can walk your hands back out in front of you until you're in a tabletop. And then step your feet back into plank. So we'll get a little touch to our abs here as we hold this plank. Still keeping a nice long line, pressing the mat away. And then drop down into your forearms, coming to your forearm plank. Bring your feet together, and then drop your heels over to the right, drop your hips to the right. Tap them down to the floor and come back up. Drop your heels and your hip to the left. Tap and come back up. And then we'll continue this just at your own pace for about 30 seconds. And then you can stop whenever you want. And then bring your knees down. We'll come back into that child's pose. With your knees wide, reach your arms out in front. Let your chest sink down towards the floor. And then tuck your toes underneath. Lift your hips up high, downward facing dog. Reach your right leg up towards the ceiling. And then bring your right ankle behind your left wrist. Right knee behind your right wrist. Coming into pigeon pose. So hopefully you guys can see this, but my right shin is in front of me. It can be parallel with the top of the mat, doesn't have to. You can bring your right foot closer to you, further away, or but your left leg should be straight back behind you. Should have a nice base here. Your hips should be squared forward, not, your right hip sinking down or anything. And you can stay here, or you can sink down into your forearms. You can even make a little pillow with your hands. Rest your forehead on that pillow. We'll be here for a minute or two, so find a pose that's sustainable for you, that's challenging, but not too much, right on your edge. And breathe into your right hip. Use your breath to help you here. Hey. Sorry, I gotta get this dog out of here. It's dying. And then when you're ready, you can come back up to your palms if you're not already there. And then bend your left knee. And you can stay here, or if you would like to, you can reach back with your left hand, see if you can grab your your left foot. If you can't reach it, you can just reach for it, and you'll get the same benefits, but try to square your shoulders forward. And then when you're ready, release. Bring your palms back down to the mat, tuck your left toes underneath. And we'll come up to our three-legged dog, so reach your right leg up towards the ceiling. Just for a release. And drop your right toes back down. Reach your left leg up towards the ceiling. And we'll step it into our pigeon, so left ankle comes behind the right wrist. Left knee behind your left wrist. Right leg is straight back behind you. Hips are squared, not dropping to one side or the other. You can stay here up on your hands, or you can drop down to your forearms. Or you can build that pillow with your hands and rest your forehead on it. Just finding a pose that works for you, that's sustainable and challenging, uncomfortable but not painful. Send a few breaths to your left hip. Use your breath to help you. And then when you're ready, you can come back up to your palms and bend your right knee. Option to reach back and grab your right ankle, or see just reaching back for it. Keep your shoulders and your hips squared forward as you're adding this extra stretch to your pigeon. And you can release your right ankle. Bring your palms back down to the mat. Tuck your right toes underneath. And we'll lift up to our three-legged dog. Reach your left leg up towards the ceiling for a release. And drop your left foot back down to meet your right. Going into your last downward facing dog of the class. Take a few breaths here. Notice how you're feeling. And maybe remember how you felt at the beginning of class. And then you can drop your knees down to the mat, cross your ankles deeply, and come to sitting. Scoot forward on your mat, and then come down to your backs. Hug your knees into your chest. Maybe rock a little bit side to side. And keep hugging your right knee in, send your left leg out long. Drop it down the mat. Bring your right hand out to a T. And then use your left hand to guide your right knee over to the left. If you would like to, you can look towards the right. And then lift your right knee back up to center. Hug your left knee into your chest. Send your right leg out long. Bring your left hand out to a T. Use your right hand to guide your left knee over to the right. If you would like to, you can look to the left. And then bring your left knee back up to center. Hug both knees into your chest. Give them a nice hug. And then grab the outsides of your feet with both hands and reach the soles of your feet up towards the ceiling.
Gently pulling your knees down into your armpits. Coming into happy baby. And you have a few options here as well. You can bring your sacrum down to the floor, or you can maybe gently rock side to side, or maybe see if you can straighten your knees. See if that feels good to get a little bit of stretch on the back of your legs. And then wherever you are, release your feet, but keep your the soles of your feet reaching up towards the ceiling. So bring your legs together. Your hands could come down to the mat, right beside your hips. Coming into legs up the wall. So really pulling the soles of your feet up towards the ceiling. Doing a final inversion here. Right before we wrap up class. So getting your legs above your heart. Just gives your heart a break. Reverses the effects of gravity that our body feels all day, every day. We'll just stay here for a few more breaths. Still breathing in deep in and out through our nose. And then bend your knees, hug your knees into your chest. Give yourself a nice tight hug. Hug your knees in tight, and we'll just give everything a little touch. So bring your shoulders up off the mat, hug them in closely to your knees. Squeeze your toes, squeeze your hands, squeeze your face muscles. Squeeze everything possible. And then release. And we'll set up for our final resting pose, our Shavasana, which is traditionally taken just laying flat down on our backs, palms facing up. You can always bend your knees, knock your knees together. You can bring one hand to your chest, one hand to your belly. Just finding a pose that works for you. A pose that's completely comfortable, that's not requiring any muscles to keep you there. And start to check in, see if you can release any extra tension. So see if you can release the muscles in your jaw, the muscles in your forehead, the muscles around your eyes, your neck muscles, your shoulders, your hips and your legs. Let your feet flop open. Notice all the points in your body that are in contact with the ground. Feel completely supported by the ground. Let yourself feel heavy. Let yourself feel so heavy that you're almost sinking down into the ground. And as we enter this moment of stillness and of peacefulness, maybe think of one thing that you can feel grateful for. There are many things we can be grateful for. See if you can just find one. And maybe focus on that for a few moments until I call you back. And then start to wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes. Maybe take a nice deep breath in and out. You can roll your ankles and your wrists. Take any movement here that feels natural as you start to wake yourself back up. And then when you're ready, you can roll onto the right side of your body. Hug your knees in towards your chest. Use your bicep as a pillow. Take a few breaths here, sending breath to the back side of your body. And then use your arms to press yourself up to a comfortable seated position. Similar to how we started class. Bring your hands to your knees. Bring the crown of your head up towards the ceiling. Stack your spine. And just like we started class, on your next deep inhale, scoop your arms up overhead. Inhale. And then exhale, bring your hands back out to your sides. Inhale, reach up. Maybe touch your palms together. Exhale, hands to your sides. Inhale, big inhale, lift up. Bring your palms together, and exhale as you bring your thumbs to your heart center. Thank you for practicing with me today. The light and love in me honors and acknowledges the light and love in you. Namaste. Thank you all so much. I hope you have a great weekend, a great Saturday. See you guys later. Bye.